Hey doing everyone, welcome back. Now I don't know if you saw this, but in the coverage of the Los Angeles protests, there was actually a reporter from Australia, and she was, obviously she was a member of the press, holding a microphone with a camera in front of her, reporting on the events going on behind her, right? She was not proactively involved in the protests. She was simply reporting on them. Now, Los Angeles police officer decides, she needs to be shot. Granted, all right, non-lethal round, or less than lethal, I should say, or less lethal round, because it can still be lethal if it hits the right spot. But rubber bullet to the leg and deliberately targeted her. And before you say, well, she shouldn't have been there, if you're the type to say that she shouldn't have been there, you're the type that says, well, the news shouldn't do their job. The media shouldn't do their job. They shouldn't report the news. They shouldn't tell us what's going on, right? And they shouldn't be on the scene to give us an idea as to what's actually happening, right? So if they shouldn't be there, then guess what? No reporter should ever be anywhere that something newsworthy is happening. If that's going to be your take on it, well, she shouldn't have been there. Then no news reporter needs to ever be anywhere, because we can get it, from whatever. We don't need to actually see what's going on to know what's going on, right? Plus, she was not involved in the protest. She was away from the protest in a press area. Clearly, it was behind her where all the protesting was taking place. And you can see this officer raise up his weapon, point it directly at her. She doesn't see it coming, of course. And he shot her right directly in the leg with a rubber bullet. Obviously, that's gonna hurt. She went down for a minute, and everybody was concerned for her safety, which it should be. But like a trooper, she got up and she continued reporting. So yeah, way to go, LAPD. Way to cause an international incident, potentially. It wasn't even a U.S. citizen. It was international press covering what is going on in this country. Kind of like our own press will go to other countries to cover what's going on there. So, is that what we've come to now? We're going to target the press for doing their job? And, I don't think that this cop knew that she was foreign press. Probably not. If he did, that makes it even worse, because now you're deliberately causing an international incident. But, it's bad enough, not knowing. Just assuming that it's American, that, she's with the American media, which you can't assume that, for one, and for two, what is the very first amendment to our Constitution? The very first one. Most of the rights protected in the First Amendment, most of the rights being protected in the First Amendment were being freely exercised at that point in time. Right? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Okay, that was not part of what was going on. Nor abridging freedom of speech, nor of the press, nor of the people to peaceably assemble or to petition their government for a redress of grievances. People were there speaking. The press was there. By the way, freedom of the press, that's not just, hey, you know what? If you're in the media, if you have a job in the media, you have a special right that nobody else has. No. No, no. It is our right to know what is going on. That's why the freedom of press exists. Right? It's not, hey, you just get to report whatever you want to report, which it is, but it's also so that we can know what is going on and make up our own thoughts and opinions as to, what those reports mean. Okay, so, little sidebar. So, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, obviously. What do you think a protest is? It's an assembly, right? Right of people to petition their government for a redress of grievances. Now, they definitely have some grievances. And a petition, to petition the government doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to write out this piece of paper that I want to get, as many signatures as I can to turn over to the government and say, hey, you know what? All these people signed this. This is what you need to do something about. No, to petition your government. I mean, yeah, that's one way to petition your government, of course. But a protest is another way to petition your government for a redress of grievances. To show up at a town hall and criticize, or not even necessarily criticize, but let your elected officials know what you think, is another way to petition your government for a redress of grievances. Let's go to the Medicare thing Medicaid thing for a minute, right? When they want to, they want to make all these cuts to Medicaid, and if you tell your U.S. Senator, like, somebody told my U.S. Senator Joni Ernst, that people are going to die because of this, that is a way of petitioning her to do the right thing. Of course, she just kind of blew it off, well, we're all going to die, but I already did a video on that, and it's just disgusting. That whole situation. But that's not what I'm here to talk about, right? I'm talking about the situation in Los Angeles and that reporter who was shot with a rubber bullet. And you can actually see, if you see the video, I would actually recommend you look this up. I don't know how to edit video clips in, but you can actually see the video where he deliberately raises up his weapon and points directly at her and takes the shot. Again, rubber bullet, she's fine. I mean, yeah, it hurt, it knocked her down, but she's fine. That's not the point, is it? The point is, she was exercising her right to report on what was going on. And then, you just might say, well, you know what, she's not even an American, so she doesn't, the Constitution only applies to Americans. Well, first of all, not true. Second of all, even if it was true, how does that cop know that she's not an American? Right? Plus, why? Why don't you want people reporting on what's going on? I mean, if you think that you're doing the right thing, right? And I'm talking to this one very specific cop who took this shot. If you think that you're doing the right thing, why would you not want her to let the world see what's going on with these protests, so that people can decide that, oh, you know what? Yeah, those protesters are out of line. But I mean, the protesters are obviously not out of line. They're not. The government is out of line. But, to that woman, that reporter, keep doing the good work you do. Keep doing the good work you do. It's an embarrassment that this country, or certain individuals in this country, that the government of this country, it's embarrassing that the government of this country has become what it's become. And I still believe in this country and everything that it is supposed to be. But I've got some major issues with the current government. Anyway, for the protesters, stay out there, stay protesting. I'll be joining you here in a few days. Don't know where yet, but I'll be out there in a few days. And to not just this Australian reporter, but to reporters everywhere, stay strong. Keep doing your job. We have the right to know, and you have the right to tell us. I'll see you next time.